It's 24 minutes to 7 p.m. This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. Tonight on Point Blank, the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors is calling for a public inquiry into revenue losses within the energy sector. The chamber in its 2017 oil sector review observed that the country lost 1.4 billion Ghana cedis in petroleum revenue leakages alone through nefarious activities perpetrated by persons within the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Presidency, and National Security. The man who chairs the Seaboard as the Chief Executive Officer is Senyo Hosi. He is my guest on Point Blank tonight. You're welcome to Point Blank, sir.
Thank you, Umaru.
Charles, that's very dangerous information you have brought out there. You're saying that 1.4 billion cedis lost through nefarious activities, including the Presidency and National Security?
I think that it's not a matter of, that's one thing we need to get it clear. It's not just this government. It's transcended government. Anytime the illegality has been around. I think the illegality started actively in the latter part of 2015 and more in 2016, and it's just been growing in 2017 as well. It's good to understand where this whole thing started from, and that's where sometimes policy has to be thorough. In Ghana, we do very little thorough thinking. Our policy making is very myopic. It's just meant to cure something, but often we create other problems. I'll tell you what happened. So Ghana goes deregulation. So we deregulate prices somewhere in July of 2015. Government claims to be scared that the private sector may abuse the market. Totally unfounded. They had GOIL, which had a BDC license. It was part of the deregulation design. So government has visibility in the trade. And you know, GOIL and Go Energy, GOIL is a listed company, so it's supposed to operate profitably. So that was the structure. It will operate very fairly and responsibly. But the option government decided to go with was to rather have a bust, which is fully government owned. And if you have losses in bust, taxpayers pay. But you can't have losses in GOIL and Go Energy. There's no way the management of GOIL or Go Energy would entertain anything like that. So we had bust doing trading. Bust sells to Go Energy at prices lower than market. It sells to GOIL. And GOIL starts selling in the other pump. And they did nothing wrong. Get it clear. GOIL just did the right thing as a regular business guy. And they sell at prices that nobody can match. Because when you go to the market, you can't get the price that Bust sells to Go Energy, which is a BDC, a GOIL's BDC. People start becoming creative. How do we compete at the pump? Then people start doing smuggling.
I wanted you to clarify something before you even proceed. So, because it's state to state, GOIL doesn't lose much, and so GOIL can afford to sell.
Let me get it right. Get it right. We all go to the market. We buy it for 100. You have to sell it to, say, the OMC at maybe 105. But you have a boss that will go and get it for 100. I'm using hypothetical figures, and sells to GOIL at, say, 95 or 90. $10 less than the market, $10 less than the price at which it bought. But because you actually have products flowing, it's almost like a Ponzi. So GOIL now gets it at 90. The rest of the market gets it at 105. GOIL will sell lower than the market. So if you are a Petrosol, you are a Total, you are a Shell, you'll be wondering how to compete. So you have some recalcitrants, some miscreants in the industry who just are trying to survive. So they engage in export product dumping that evades the tax loop. And then they get products without taxes. So it will cost them much lower.
Which come through other means rather than...
They don't even come to the regular one. You have product going to Burkina Faso, so there are no taxes. All right, and once you have,
it doesn't end up in Burkina Faso.
It ends up in Achimota. It ends up in Tema. It ends up anywhere.
So that they can catch up with the advantages GOIL is getting.
Exactly. If that indirect subsidy that was being given then was to the whole market, this wouldn't have happened. So people started doing that as a matter of survival. Then it evolved to becoming the real deal because it was sweet. We have taxes in our prices, in our price build of about 40%. So if I buy 100 cedis worth of fuel, 40 cedis is tax. I think that it will be a nice idea if I continue enjoying that 40 if I have I'm quite criminally minded.
I don't want us to continually use the word God because it's a corporate
no. I'm not. Not God. No, get it right.
Go.
Like I said, God hasn't done anything wrong. I'm just saying they were beneficiaries of a system that central government put in place. They are just a commercial entity.
They still are.
I mean, no anymore in 2017.
Okay.
So that happened in 2016.
Okay.
So the other non-government, the full private entities, started acting in these ways to catch up.
Okay.
In 2017, the losses that Bust had made from those indirect subsidies, were out there for everybody to see. In fact, government had pumped in over 186 million and still could not really cushion the hole that Bust had created. It had quite a big hole. The current government said, no, we are not going to entertain inefficiencies. If you want to compete, play by the rules. So everybody had to start pricing the same. So you realize that everybody now had a fair price to really catch up with. But the problem had already been created. We had thrown money to criminals. They were going to continue doing it.
So they know how to do it, and they're still doing it.
Exactly. Exactly, and that's one part of it. So you have the smuggling and then the export trade booming. And that's what we estimate as, the losses we estimate as 1.4 billion. But that's one part of the loss.
But how do you bring the presidency in that part, one part of the loss?
Well, get it right. Nobody's saying the president is a part of it.
I didn't say president. I said presidency.
Yeah, there are operatives who have always been in all the various presidencies who are known by industry to have been facilitating and protecting the players.
You mentioned GRA. You mentioned
GRA is the heart of the problem that we have in this industry as far as the tax evasion is concerned.
Also,
I tell you, very simple. Before you really want to really get anything out, you go to the GRA. You need to upload your volumes, sign it off with them. You have a code tied to your entire sale. I'm just trying to make it simple. And without that, you can't get cargoes out of the depot. So, Umaru, if I'm going to sell as a BDC, if I'm going to sell to you as an OMC 1 million liters, GRA is the first person to know. And then I get my cargo done. You have to go and pay the taxes to GRA. Does it make sense that you go and pay for 500,000 liters and GRA cannot tell that you have underpaid government?
That is GRA there physically when you are offloading?
Absolutely. Every depot is a custom bonded warehouse. They are the owners, and they are
physical presence.
Physical presence, absolutely, in every depot.
So someone looks the other way so that more volumes will be moved.
You see, you have some intersector coordination problem, very, very poor one. There's not something like the ESLA where we are seeing variances of about 576 million in 2016 and about 339 million in 2017. Doesn't easily make sense. There should be no variance because ESLA is simple mathematics. ESLA on a cargo could be, say, 92, and 92, or let's take a number, let's say 2. If somebody moves 100, how much tax is a person supposed to pay? You need 2 times 100. I'm sure some kid by 9 class 3 has just punched it right now and has answered to the mama in the car. Why should that be difficult? The MPA has all the official volumes that have been sold, because you account to the MPA, you account to the depot, you account to steps. Why is it that anytime we have to report on ESLA, we don't do this reconciliation to make sure we harmonize everything and see who is paying and who is not paying? Information is suppressed. The Ministry of Finance will work with information given to them by the GRA. The GRA has to fix itself. And you know, in all this, you have national security also part of the process to ensure that people are complying. But system gets quite polarized. People's system gets compromised. This cannot go on without everybody being a part of the party.
So, Sanya, we've mentioned national security, we've mentioned presidents, we've mentioned GRA. These are institutions, but they are human beings manning them.
Thank you very much.
Specifically, can you point
That's quite a very reckless question to ask.
Why is it reckless?
Umar, and I think I told you that before here. One, I am focused on the institutional challenges we have. Like you can see, one human being during the NDC era, it's just going to change. The perpetrators of this act are constantly in government. They are like me. I'm never out of government. whichever government, I'm still out to do my job.
Senor, you do not think
I'm coming. We need to deal with the structural issues. There's enough information and data to help identify people who have been culpable in this process. The first thing we should be doing is to be dealing with those that data can find. I give you an example. When you have export products leave a depot, there's a certain chemical that is not put in. It's called a fuel marker. Products that are supposed to be consumed in Ghana are marked. So the diesel, the petrol you buy in Ghana has a chemical in it that's able to establish that this one is a taxable product and a taxed product. The MP does regular checks. It goes to places and it realizes that people have introduced petrol without that marker. So you have something called lower marker concentration. It is clear evidence that somebody is evading tax. Why do we go and penalize them administratively with a 10,500?
So now, you see,
the MPA is constrained. It is not Attorney General. It is not National Security. It is not CID. It is not BNR. It can only do its work. But information is available. Why do we not prosecute the people? Every one of this information required is available. The MPA went to a place like Togo, where people claim to be exporting products to. Togo has made it clear we do not have products imported from Ghana.
The job we do here, and like Anas has been re-echoing, is to name, shame, and have people jailed. Now, you are a chamber. You have published a 50-page document. And you do not think it's reckless for you just to make an allegation without substance?
I never make any allegation without substance.
You have. You have said the presidency. You see, you have said the presidency. You have said national security. You have said GRA. It is enough. It's not enough to just make sweeping statements.
You should read. Maybe you have not read the report properly. We have said it very clearly that the reports that the Seaboard and other stakeholders receive, and I think if you were at the launch,
I wasn't there, but my report was there.
I think other stakeholders also confirmed saying that the same reports are received by these institutions, that you have officials in these institutions that may be complicit in this process. All right, there's information to start. That's what we are saying, to deal with this.
Yeah, but you see,
let me finish.
I didn't come up with this information. You came up with this information.
I don't mind about that, and we don't have a problem at all. Why shouldn't I?
Have a problem.
I don't have a problem with it.
You can't just come and make a sweeping statement.
I've made no sweeping statement. I have told you clearly information that this chamber has. This information is not information. I'm telling you.
If you have information, it's information that borders on crime.
Exactly.
You should be a responsible institution.
If we were not responsible, we would not have preferred steps to be taken to deal with it.
No, you do not.
We have preferred steps to be taken with it, Umaru.
You do not
and your steps. Approach, I'm coming. Your approach. You haven't
preferred steps when we haven't named. We don't know who
I don't need to name. First of all, I don't think that even trying to name would be one I want to even do on radio, even if I had the names to really share with you.
You do not even
I will not. This is not a place to come and share that information.
But
the most important
are you sharing
thing,
it to the security agencies?
To the extent that I can, and to the parties that
do you have
that
names
need to know, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer that.
Do you have names of people who are
not going to answer that.
Crime?
I've told you that this crime exists. There's data to show that the crime exists.
You cannot just make a statement that a crime exists. If I said that someone is
you either want to sit here and help us as a country solve a problem, or you actually want to dabble in the joy of a propaganda.
I'd rather provide you a microphone to speak truth to the country,
and
rather
exactly,
than make
that truth, nobody makes a founded statement from the chamber.
Have just done
we
that.
have not once. If you want to consider our position as unfounded, so be it.
No, I haven't.
Let that be your position. It's not the position of anybody in the industry, a key stakeholder in the industry. Your guys were present at the launch, and no one of the key stakeholders denied the claims that were made.
The fact that you have the statement has not been denied doesn't make it factual.
No problem.
It doesn't make it factual.
I think that we have given people enough leads. If you want to fix the problem, I do not run the national security. The national security minister and the key people involved in this in the security management of this country cannot claim not to be aware.
National security
whatsoever.
is a very vague institution. So is the Ghana Revenue Authority.
The Ghana Revenue is a very clear institution.
It's a very vague name if you just say that.
Umaru, I'm telling you, Umaru, I don't know. You either want to solve this problem or you don't. I am interested here.
Solve this problem by providing you a platform.
And I have told you, I've given you data. That data clearly shows 1 times 1 is equal to X.
Yes.
And the data reported by government is X minus. Where is the minus?
Yes.
And you are telling me that the one who collects the money is not culpable?
You have to prove beyond what you're saying. See, we are talking about strict proof.
There's nothing more to add.
You can't just make an analysis without a fair conclusion and expect everybody to follow you. What fair conclusion
is supposed to be made?
Fair conclusion means that if you mention the presidency and you mention national security and mention Ghana Revenue Authority, these are institutions that are manned by human beings, not robots. And so you should be able to give us specific names.
Umaru, thank you very much. The fact that you know that they are human beings and not robots. So you start.
You want us to arrest everybody?
Can I finish? Can I finish? You start where it matters most.
Where does it matter?
Simple. You have an ESLA, and we have stated clearly. You go to your ESLA system. Who reports the ESLA? Who was responsible for reconciling? Why did they not reconcile and ensure that Mr. A, who lifted 1 million liters, paid for 1 million? Why did they allow the person to pay for 500? That's the question you should ask. Who was responsible? You want me to do that job? Then you may as well start paying your taxes to me, and you are sure I will do a great job at it.
You see, I don't pay you taxes.
Till then, I think that you should be directing your questions to the people who should be answering.
Yes,
where is the money, and how come is it that Ghanaians have paid for money and we don't have that reflected
I think I know,
as our income?
I think I know where to direct my questions.
Very well.
If the government gives me information that is scanty, I'll question them, just like you have done now. You have given me half-cooked information, and I have every right
to ask you the question. That's fine. I think I'll allow you to maintain that.
In the interview you granted to our reporter, you said you gathered during your surveys and investigations that people in top positions are also involved in fuel smuggling. You have failed to give us specifics on that. Let's move on and say the report you talk about also revealed that government failed to account for over 500 million cedis
and not 915, and it's all part of the same thing. Is that you still have the same cabal that plays in this game also playing there. So again, go and tell me that I should go and do your job with your taxes, and that's fine. I'll be very happy to receive your taxes, and I'll do a great job at it.
I would rather, as a responsible institution, you handed this information you have to the security services.
I don't need to hand over, and that's what responsibly we have put together a document, made it available wide for anybody to analyze and make the necessary inferences and investigations. As a matter of fact, whereas you may not take it as seriously as it should, those who matter have taken it up seriously. And when the chamber speaks for the credibility it has internationally, it has proper ripples. And we have already started getting positive feedback from some people who matter on the matter to ensure it is dealt with. So it is not rocket science to know that when you are 10 people here, and if you have a poll tax of 10, you should collect 10 times 10, which is 100. So if you have 10 people here, and the poll tax coming from Citi FM is 50, who is supposed to collect the taxes here? Is it your accountant who is supposed to do that? So why don't you go and ask him? You are telling me to mention your accountant's name?
You are an interested group in this particular industry. So you have been watching this happen. What do you think can be done to solve it? So is it the case that the current system has failed in fighting
I have told you clearly it has failed. The previous system failed, the current system has failed. So you should realize that it's a systemic problem. One thing we have to be very clear about: those who engage in this practice have very well vested interest in every security agency and in the politics. It's just like the drug trade. 1.4 billion is no joke. It's the cocaine in town. All right, you don't lose 1.4 billion plus another 900 million Ghana cedis overnight and just think that it's happening because you have just a few boys at the back there playing games. That's a joke. We're a serious country, we must take things seriously. It is a well coordinated thing. People in here are very well connected.
Is the Ministry of Energy in on this?
It's aware. The Ministry of Energy was there when the report was released. So I think the Ministry of Energy, and we've all been trying to fight it. And you see, you always have enemies within and enemies without. This is something that everybody gets culpable in politically. So that's why we have said, to deal with this matter, let's have a public inquiry. Let's have a forensic audit. Not an audit by, a small audit firm. We should have an audit by a firm that has a lot to lose with its reputation, its integrity.
And you believe that a lot will be dug out?
A lot will be dug out. As a matter of fact, I am aware that KPMG who are administrators of ESLA PLC, have done some little work to the part that they had some scope and influence on, and some of these have already been unveiled. Who are involved? That is the job of government, and that's why I think that we should have a public inquiry, because Umaru, 1.5 billion can corrupt anybody, can make anybody bend at any point in time. It is serious money, it is serious stuff. You need to nail it openly.
But you not help the government to do
I
that.
think I've done that already. That's very clear. That's unfair to say. If I didn't want to help the country, this statement, this report wouldn't have been prepared and it wouldn't have been published.
We'll leave it there, and I believe the report is out there. It's titled the 2017 Industry Report by Ghana Petroleum on the Ghana Petroleum Downstream by Seaboard, that's the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. You can grab a copy and tell me whether or not beyond the sweeping allegations made by Senor Jose, there's been substantive evidence to point the government in which direction to go if they wanted to chase anybody. Thank you very much, Senor Jose, for being on Point Blank.
Always a pleasure.
We have to go, but before we go, there's a statement from government. It says, government ready to operationalize the University of Ghana Medical Center, signed by Curtis Perry Kwablan Okujeto, Deputy Minister for Information. It says, following the completion of work by the committee set up to operationalize the University of Ghana Medical Center, the government has set up an interim board chaired by Dr. Anefi Asamoah Ban to liaise with the 10 key contractor to test, run the equipment and operationalize the facility with immediate effect. As a first step, the interim board between now and July 2018 will complete the staffing process and ensure the provision of final logistics required for a smooth takeoff. Government as chief stakeholder shares in the public sentiment to operationalize the facility as soon as possible. The statement continues to say it is, however, important to note that the above processes are completed to provide the best care for patients who will be patronizing the facility. It says government has additionally secured funds to construct phase 2 of the project, which will enable its function optimally. The government wishes to state its commitment to providing quality health care to the people of Ghana. So the significant part of that statement says, as a first step, the interim board between now and July 2018 will complete the staffing process and ensure the provision of final logistics required for a smooth takeoff. And that is on the University of Ghana Medical Center, a statement issued by government. That's all for Eyewitness News tonight. Came to you from 97.3 Citi FM studios at Adabraka in Accra. I am Umaru Sanda Amado. Was here with Eugenia Tinkran. Production was led by Sixtus Don Ulo with support from Marifans Fojo and Anna Seidu. Up next, a sister with Jessica and the Girl, and is live on Citi TV and 97.3 Citi FM. Stay with us.